Good afternoon. My name is Wisdom Amuzu, and I'm one of the co-founders of the How to New Collective. And we're an education nonprofit in Denver, Colorado, and we're building collective power. And to do what? Well, we call it radical systemic change, which is a word you hear a lot at ASU, GSV. That was a joke. Radical, I use it the way Ella Baker meant it. And she was one of the leaders of the Black Freedom Movement. And she said, I use the term radical in its original meaning, getting down to and understanding the root cause of an issue. Why? Well, at HNC, we start with one basic premise. And it's that for people who come from communities that I come from, there are interlocking systems of oppression that guide our education system. And it's our job to uproot those systems and create new systems of liberation. Ella put it even more simply. It means facing a system that does not lend itself to your needs and devising means by which you can change that system. So for us, here's what that looks like. We start with a very basic premise. Every student, every parent, and every teacher has the power to transform their education. We just need systems to get out of the way so we can unleash that power. We do it in two ways. One, we create centers within existing high schools, and then separately, full-time high schools that are grounded in this model called authentic education. So what does that look like? The first center is called HackSchool, and if you showed up there in Northwest Denver, in the back of the school is a small room called HackSchool. And to the left, students have access to a row of 3D printers. To the right, a laser cutter. And their task is very simple. I want you to design a solution for a real-world problem. So this student shows up, and she wants to build a smart cane for the blind. So she builds it with the help of her educators. She builds a code that's actually half English and half her native language, Spanish. We don't give a damn, because in the real world, what matters is that it works. And as a result, she ends up at the White House, nominated as one of Obama's 11 kid science advisors. And she becomes the first proof point for what this type of education can unleash beyond a beautiful test score. So that center is called HackSchool, and it's currently running in 2 schools in Denver. At the top there, students at Compass Montessori, they chose to build a tiny house. These are middle schoolers and high schoolers. They want to build that tiny house and then sell it for folks who want it as an Airbnb, and then use the proceeds to help fund their projects for the next year. So what does this look like with literacy? This center is called the Mardell J. Writing Center, and it has a beautiful startup story. A group of seniors, high school seniors, wanted to start the nation's first student-led writing center. And they came up with this vision: a space for students to walk in power, to speak truth, and to become powerful agents of change through literary activism. Students came up with that. So what does it look like? Well, they look for social justice events that are happening in the community to create authentic writing opportunities for their peers in their community. So for Black History Month, they came up with an event called An Echo of Freedom. So first, they organized a meet and greet. They invited powerful Black leaders from the community to sit in different stations, and students from elementary school to middle school to high school to in college, intergenerational, to interact with them all around an essential question. Next, they hosted a write-in where students could come in and write poems, essays, speeches. Once again, we're engaging in schooling activities, just in a ninja kind of fashion. Next, they hosted a workshop, they practiced, they gave feedback, and then they performed. And the beauty of this is very simple. It's moments like this when this student performs, and he's sitting at a table in an Ethiopian restaurant in Denver, Colorado. Next to him is his dean from when he was in elementary school and his mother. And they're doing something that's rare in education these days. They're smiling. And they're smiling about something that's actually incredibly academic. From our centers, we've codified what we call the 6 principles of authentic education. These are the principles that will guide us to the creation of a new system of education. Once again, it's nothing new. The research supports it. First, education is a practice of freedom. It doesn't come after 12 years of conformity. The moment you step out of that womb, we have to create systems that help you practice and walk freely. 2, learning has to be grounded in the reality of our students' lives. 3, la cultura cura, culture heals, indigenous philosophy. 4, We're going to play to the strengths of our community, and we're not going to play to the deficit-based mindsets that characterize really the first wave of reform. 5, we're going to use data to help, not hurt, not dehumanize you, not reduce you to your math and reading test score. And 6, through education, students are going to add value to their community. And I hope you saw that in some of the examples I walked you through. Finally, armed with these 6 principles, last October, we began our first community design team process. In Aurora, Colorado, which is the district that I graduated from, a group of students, parents, and teachers met twice a month for 2 hours every single time. And they tried to design a radical, innovative high school with one basic principle. It's going to be for us and by us. No one is coming to save us. We have to create our own Wakanda. So what did they come up with? Empower Community High School. Jay, one of our most brilliant students, put forth that vision. The world is ours. How are we going to get there? With a school where we create learning experiences that are led by students, guided by educators, and co-created with community. At our centers and our school, we're using the all-school learning management platform, and it's allowing us to measure both the academic, socio-emotional, and the community impact that students are having through the projects. And finally, to close out, I'll just re-ground us in the why. Change that is not led by those most impacted is not sustainable. It's wasting you and my time. To get this, the key factor has to be students unleashing their power, parents unleashing their power, teachers unleashing their power. It's not one after-school club. It's not one cute center over there. It's a collective. And as we do that, the bat gets bigger. And we know exactly what we're swinging that bat at. A deep history of vicious and savage inequities, which our country has inherited. I'll leave it back to Ella. Oh, good, I'm at time. For us, Hada knew, that phrase just translates into humbly offer a solution. Thank you for listening.